For lesson 9, we're going to be discussing type and different ways that we can use type. So we're going to, I'm going to start a project. I'm going to do a sample for you. I want you to just kind of watch along, and then you're going to create your own logo using the same kind of concepts. I'm also going to go over some different types of type. So what we're going to do is I'm going to actually start there today. So you're going to go to your Creative Cloud app right here. With text, there's a lot of different things you can do with text. There's a lot of different places you can even find text. All of the Adobe programs come with a certain number of them preset. But then on top of that, Adobe now offers a whole bunch of different types of fonts that you can use. And you can also, I'm going to show you a website as well that works really well. Okay, so if you go into your Creative Cloud and you come down here to where it says Manage Fonts, it's going to show all the fonts that you already have that are active. So every font can have, you know, anywhere from just one family to, you know, as many as the biggest one I've seen, I think, is like 92 or 94. Okay, so you can find all these different fonts. Now, you have the ones that are already on here. Oops. Or you can go right here to this button where it says Browse More Fonts, and it'll open it in your web browser, and it will take it just a second. And what it's going to do is open up to this screen. So this screen is really nice because what you can do is whatever you're going to be typing onto your project, you can actually put sample text in here. I always suggest too, if you think that there's going to be any numbers in whatever you're doing, type those numbers in as well. Numbers are extremely different sometimes from font to font. So you want to make sure that's something that you put in here so you can see. It's like sometimes, I don't know if any of these have, there they are. Like this one here, the 3 comes way down below the line. So you need to look for the things like that and whether or not you like the way the numbers will look. Okay, so that's just a little side note. Also, you can adjust, like here, you can adjust the text size to see how it's going to look at a different size. You can also sort by name, by feature, that kind of thing. Then over here on the left-hand side, you can come in here and you can put in here that you want to have something that looks like a luxury font or something that looks like it was written with a marker. You can also do classifications down here, whether you want a sans serif, which means without foot, which is what this one is here, or if you want a serif, which is something more like this one, means it has a foot to it, which is these little pieces that stick off. You can also do like a slab serif, a script, or a handwriting, which are kind of more of a handwriting, both of them kind of font, and then you have mono, okay? You can also make changes based on weight. So if you know you want something that has a really thin line to it, or if it's really tall or really short or really contrasty, you can choose those things down here. Okay, so you can go through these and kind of look at them. Now, some of them have families, some of them don't. So some of them might be just a single font, like this one. The Serif script only has one font. It says right here. So if you open it up, you'll see that it just has the one font. It looks like this. Okay, where other fonts, if we come back here, like this one right here, this has 48 fonts. So if you click on it, it's going to show you all 48 font families. Okay, now the nice thing about this is you may not need 48 of them. You may be looking for something very specific, and maybe it looks just like this one. Then you can come here and activate this font. Now, maybe you want to use all of them, and you can do right here, you can activate all of them, okay? So it's up to you how you want to do it and how many fonts you want to overload your computer. But this is a great thing to use. Another thing that I just used for the first time today is the search all fonts and boundaries. What I did was I went in here and I was working on a project for a student. Let's see if I can find it up here. And you can take a screenshot. There it is. You can take a screenshot of something and scan it in. And then it's going to tell you to like pick out the exact font you want. So if you wanted the font that's right here, I can zoom in on it. This is the font that I want. I'm going to leave out the O just because it's something weird. It's just a circle. This is the font I'm looking for. Hit next step. It says, hey, is this right? Yes, it spells new. And then it's going to show me all the fonts that it feels are closest to that font. So this is really handy whenever you're like recreating something for maybe a band or a movie or, you know, somebody's logo and they use this very specific font, but they don't know what it is. You can do it this way and find something that's pretty close to it, if not the exact one. Okay, so this is very handy. Now there are free websites online as well. One of my favorites is called dafont.com. And you can go in here and it works kind of the same way. You can tell it like what kind of font you want up here. You can just scroll, but you can also, if let's say we pick alien font. These are all wingdings. Let's do something else. So let's do a serif font right here. Again, you can type in what you want it to look like. Hit submit right here and it'll show you all them and the word that you're using. So the font's really nice because it's free. Another one that is works pretty well is 1001 fonts. It's right there. And it works pretty much the same way. You just have right here, you can type in what word you want to see and you can kind of scroll through them. Okay, so you're going to be using one or multiple of these. It's up to you. They're just really good to kind of like get you on your feet. I'm also going to include a little font video with this module just for you guys to be able to kind of understand the basics of fonts before you start working with them so that they kind of make sense for you, okay? So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go back to Illustrator and I'm going to show you, this is my example right here, where you're going to make a logo in color and then you're going to make the same logo in a grayscale or black and white, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to start by doing this one in color. Like I said, I'm going to show you how to do it and then you're going to create one on your own. So we're going to start off by creating a new document and I want it to be 6" by 6", doesn't matter the orientation. And we're just going to start off with one artboard right now and hit create. And there's my artboard. Now, I really liked, I Googled some different types of logos and I really liked this like diamond-y shape. So that's what I'm going to go with. I'm going to start with this diamond shape. I also learned a new little trick on doing it. So if you come in here and you create, we're going to start off by, let me go back to my selection tool. Over here in properties, my rulers are gone. So right here where it says rulers and grids, all I have to do is click on it right there and there's my ruler. And then I'm going to go up to view and I'm going to set my ruler to global rulers just because it's a little bit easier for me to use. So here's my 0. And I'm going to create a guide at 3 inches and then again at 3 inches this way. That way I can just make sure I'm kind of staying centered. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start off by creating a square. So I'm going to click and drag to create that square. And then I'm going to grab my selection tool and I'm going to turn this. And the reason I wanted those guides was so that I can kind of, whoops, I can kind of line this up on those guides and know that I'm doing the correct shape, okay? Then to get it to actually turn into that diamond-y shape instead of like this square turn sideways, you can grab your scale tool and click on the anchor point. I'm going to click on the anchor point at the top. Oh, you know what? My problem is I don't have any kind of, there we go, anything to see. So I'm going to turn on my stroke. You can click on the top and now I can drag using the scale tool be able to drag it the way I want it to get it to shape the way I want. And same thing with the sides. I can pull out my sides a little bit. Okay, so that's a way that you can work with the two and kind of create that perspective kind of feel to it. You can move the sides and the top and the bottom. Okay. So just so you know too, this kind of surprised me when I first started. It does keep the regular bounding box around it. So that's what these little blue lines are that pop up. No big deal. They're just there. Okay, so I have my original shape that I'm going to do for the outline. So on this one, I'm just going to make it black and white for right now. Then I'm going to make one that's inside of it. So I'm going to just take this one. I'm going to go right here to my scale tool and double click on it. I'm going to make a copy of it, but I want it to go down. I want it to stay uniformed. And I want it to go down. So I'm going to do negative, let's do 20%. Not too much. Let's do negative 90% and do a copy. So now you can see it's right inside there. I'm going to zoom in just a smidge too. There we go, so I can see what I'm working on. Then I'm going to do that again because on my original design that I came up with, you can see that I have multiple there. So I'm going to do the same thing again, select it, scale it. I'm going to go down to 80% this time. And again, do copy. There we go. Now, if you notice on my design, I have this dotted line here. I'm going to work through my stroke to create that. So what you're going to do is you're going to click on that. If you want a dotted line, you're going to click on it and come over here to stroke and where it has little dotted lines and do the drop down. And we talked about some of these things in that first lesson, but we're going to create a dashed line, which is right here. And if you click on it, it automatically goes to 12. Now, you can create all different size lines and dash lines and dotted lines and things of that nature using this. But what we're going to do with it is we're going to come up here. I'm going to change my caps to round it. And then I'm going to change my dashes down. I want little bitty dots, so I'm going to hit 2. And I'm going to make my gap a little bit bigger, 4. Okay, let's see. Maybe my dash only needs to be a 1. There we go. I'm going to go all the way down to 1 and then leave those at 4. And you can up your weight size to make these different as well. So I went down, I upped my weight size to a 3. I'm going to take my dash down to a 0.5 and I'm going to take my gap up to a 5 because I want these to spread out a little bit more. Let's go up even more. I'll do 8. I like the way that looks. Okay. Then this box right here, it's a little smaller than I wanted it to be. So I'm going to press and hold shift and I'm going to up the size of this diamond just a little bit more. And we could go back and use the scale tool if we wanted to. I'm just making sure my grids line up and it'll be okay. Okay, so there it is. Now we need to put the text in, and I want the text. One of the things that I want you to do is make sure you're using one of the text tools. So you can use text in an area, or you can use text on a line, either way. So I'm going to do type on a line. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this one again, and I'm going to size it down one more time. And this time I'm going to go down to like, we'll go 60 and see if it's enough. Yeah, we'll go 60. And I'm going to hit copy. And I'm going to go back and change all these colors in just a minute. Don't worry about it. But what we're going to do is my company is called Llama and Llama. You can make up your own company. And I'm going to line my anchor up with my anchor point right here. I'm going to hit, oh, I have the wrong tool. Let's do type on a path tool. There it is. I'm going to line it up right here. I'm going to type. I'm going to type in Llama. Okay, so you can tell with my design, I have the and sign in here. I put the and sign in separately because I wanted it to be straight. I also have some capitals. I have all capitals, but I have big capitals and little capitals. And you can do that simply by selecting this and coming over here and see these three little dots. This is your character panel. This is where you're going to change the font itself. And I used lemon milk for mine. If it has any specials to it, so this has light, it has italic, it has medium, it has bold, all of those things, you can do it there. I'm going to leave mine on regular. You can change the size if you want. You can change the spacing between them if you want. And then I'm going to do the three little dots right here. And these three little dots are just going to open up more of a panel. So this is where you can stretch your letters and make them taller. You can also make them fatter. You can rotate the letters a little bit if you want, and you can stair step them. So the really nice thing is if you select everything and do these, it'll do everything. It'll do it to everything. If you know you want a stair step, you can select just the ones you want to stair step. Or if you want only some of them to have be fatter or thinner or taller or anything like that, you can select just the letters and you can work with these independently. They don't have to be all of them. I'm going to select them all because the option I'm going to do is actually right here. So this makes all your, even no matter how you type, if you type in with cap and lowercase and then decide you wanted them all in caps, you can go right here and do it. This one right here also does the big caps and the little caps. Okay, so you can see that now I have the little shorter ones. And then I'm going to come up here and I'm going to size them up a little bit. I think 16 is pretty good. And I'm going to put my spacer behind here and I'm just going to space it to get it to where I want it. And I'm going to actually check that because I don't know what size I was at 24 on this one. So I might be able to go even a little bit bigger. Drop down. There we go. Okay, so I made them a little bit bigger, and then you can space them as you need them to get them to where you want to be on the line. So like I know I want this one in the middle here, and I want this one in the middle here. Okay, now I'm going to add in my and sign, my ampersand. So I'm going to come over here and just do the type tool. And I'm just going to type it up here just to make it easier on myself. And I'm going to do the and sign. And then I can bring it down here and I can move it. I can resize it, whatever I need to do to it. Okay. Then I put my two little llamas in here so I can kind of space things. And what I did was I went to one of the vector sites and I found a vector of this cute little llama that I wanted to use. I am going to open it up. I don't want that background, so I'm just going to lock that background so I don't pick it up, and then I'm going to select everything else. And it still picked up that background. Oh, because he's grouped. I need to ungroup them. There we go. I'm going to select them first. And release the clipping mask. There we go. Now I can lock that one and not get it. Oh, I'm lying. There we go. Okay. There we go. Okay, so I got just the little llama. I'm going to do Control Copy. Come back to my image and Control Paste. And I will warn you that he comes out a lot bigger than what we're making. So I'm just going to select him and drag him down till he's pretty small. And zoom back in. And again, still sizing him. And I'm going to size him down. Okay, and the reason I didn't color my boxes before now is because I want this rectangle or this triangle right here. I want it to be the color of his nose. that first triangle that I made, I'm going to make it a solid color of his nose color. Whoops. And I'm going to grab my eyedropper and come over and just kind of click it on that pink area. Okay, and then I want all of my borders in here, all my strokes to be white. So white, I'm going to select this one, change it to white. Whoops, I need the stroke. White. And this other one I did the wrong thing. I need this one, and I'm going to make it empty inside. I'm going to take my font. I'm going to change the fill color to white. Okay, so because I was picking a color out of this, that's why I just waited till the end to change all the colors. You can change it as you go if you want. I want another llama to be facing him, so I'm going to come over here to my reflect tool, double click it, make a copy of it, press and hold my shift, and drag him over. And that's about there. And then my company's named Llama Llama Lounge. Llama Llama Lounge Wear. So I'm going to put this right here. And I believe I did the two different ones, but I want to see what this is going to look like if I go all caps. Oops, right there. Yeah, I'm going to do all caps, and I'm just going to down the size of it. There we go. Now, the other nice thing is I want this centered on the center line. All I have to do is come over here, and I can do this right here with my align tool. And I can, oh, that was the wrong one. Align tool it right there, okay? So it's going to align that for me. Again, change the color to white. And then I added the word here underneath it. And change that to white. And that's going to go a lot smaller. And then I'm going to center it right there. So there we go. Okay, so I have Llama Llama Lounge Wear. And the only thing I'm forgetting is to put the little circle over here to go with it. Just for a little detail, I did want to make a little white circle on both sides. And I can make sure that's on the line. And then I'm going to press Alt and Shift. Whoops. Press Alt and Shift and drag it. Have one on both sides. So there's my little logo. Okay. Now I want to do the same thing, but I'm just going to create another artboard. So go to Edit Artboard. I'm going to duplicate it. Zoom out for a second. I'm going to select it all. Control copy. And then I'm going to do a special paste. I'm going to control F to paste it in front. And the reason I'm doing that is because this way then it's already on that center line and I can move it over here. And then once it's over here, I should be able to kind of move it so that it's centered, okay? So I have everything over here. So now what your job is to do is to go through and just make everything on the scale of black and white. So if you want to do just straight black and white, you can. If you want to do kind of the grayscale, you can. So maybe I would take this, come here and do black. And then for the little guys, they are a group. So I have to ungroup them. And then I can pick the little areas that I want it to be black, but I don't want these to go all the way black because then you're not going to be able to see the nose. Oops, I think I went too dark on that one. There we go. Okay, and the reason I'm having you do a color version and a black and white version is because whenever you create a logo for a company or for anyone, you really need to keep in mind how it's going to look in black and white and in color, because there's going to be times that they have the option to print in color, and then there's going to be times that they don't have that option. They have to print it in black and white. And so to save money, or because of where it's being published or printed or whatever. So this way is going to give you a version of both. Then I'm going to come up here and do clear, or do view, and I'm going to clear my guides right here under guides, clear them, and there we go. So you're going to save it as a PDF, and that's what you're going to submit to me today.